Right. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And it's time for another conversation with another amazing mom. Stay tuned. So now let's fast forward a little bit. So you mentioned homeschooling. How did you make that switch? Of course, because I know you was working, and how that switch impacted your life, and what was that journey or process like?
Well, really, when Ethan was first born, the plan was for him to attend school.
Mhm.
So that was the track we were on for the first couple of years. And by the time he was two and a half, we started researching preschools and even put a very large down payment, a deposit on a preschool to hold his spot. And I think my husband and I were discussing, oh, it sounds like a great program. This is what they'll be doing. And he said, boy, that sounds like something you could do. And I said, you know what? I bet I could. He's like, do you want to? Do you think that might make more sense? And, we were prepared to move ahead with the plan. And I said, I want to spend this time with him. We're in a position where we can choose if we will have me back at work full time or stay home at this point and be with him during his preschool education. And I said, I do want to do this. So we lost the deposit for the school, which was a decision, and we were really committed to it. But soon after that, when we thought, okay, well, maybe he'll go next year.
Right.
We'll do the first year, or we'll do the first 2 years, because we were going to send him off pretty young. Reflecting on it, it feels like it was very young. But I knew someone who hadn't had children yet, but she was going to have a child, and she talked about how she was going to have this big family and she planned to homeschool them. And I didn't really have an opinion about it one way or the other.
Right.
I thought, well, that's interesting, or I'm sure she'll do a great job, but I didn't have an opinion about it. And I kind of thought about that, and I had shared that with my husband too, that I knew this person and this was her plan. And he said, what about homeschooling Ethan? What do you think? I have to do some research. And I researched and I hours and days and weeks and months. And I said, I can do this. And I'm really excited about it. I don't know everything for sure. But, I looked into it. And, even though we do periodically assess, are we on the right track? Is this, suiting him well for his future? And we continue to do it. So we haven't looked back. It's been homeschooling straight ahead. And just for our family, there have become more reasons that make us feel really great about, why we're doing this for him. And, again, what he's getting from it. He's thriving in this environment. And so we forge ahead. And when come high school, we'll see. But the plan is to continue along the way.
Okay. And how does it make you feel right now, just being able to have the opportunity as a parent? What were some of those things that you saw or gained pretty much kind of homeschooling, being at home with your child?
I think because we spend so much time together, and we spend so much time with other people who do something similar to what we do, there is a different dynamic. And so from that, I see someone who's very confident, someone who, articulates well how he feels or what he needs or what he understands or doesn't understand, and that he can do that with people of all ages. So it's been interesting to see, how he presents himself and how he interacts with, again, adults, very young children. There is a real element of understanding how to work in groups, because that's so much the nature of what we do as homeschoolers. So many communities of people collaborating, and we do outsource a little bit here and there with other people. And so that dynamic, I think, has fostered this sense of, being able to get along with so many different kinds of people, and to see all the opportunities that maybe he wouldn't have seen he has had he been in a different environment. So for us, that's what I've felt. has been one of the best things, to see the confidence and to see him explore all the areas of who he is, because there's been obviously some flexibility in how we approach certain things that allows him to do that.
Okay, awesome. That's really amazing. I know right now I'm at home with Brian, and Haley is currently, in a private school, but I'm really enjoying the journey and the process. I'm not sure. She did ask, she's like, are you going to continue to homeschool him? Because he's doing really well. I was like, we'll see how that goes. But it is a different experience, just being able to be there with them and having that that opportunity to see them grow and be able to instill a level of confidence that sometimes, we're not able to do so, especially if they're out there in a different setting. So I'm happy that is working for you. And so with that being said, what is like one advice you would give another parent that might be interested in homeschooling their child, or kind of deciding what should I do?
I would suggest the first thing that the parent does is research. Look at what homeschooling means and understand, early on that there are many approaches. Sometimes we have this idea, if we don't know anybody who homeschools or we haven't seen anyone, actually make this happen, they don't realize that there are many different ways to approach homeschooling your child or children. And so I would say, do your homework, understand that there are different methods and philosophies, and that's tied to, what sort of goals do you have for your child by the time they're a young adult? What kind of path do you want to set them on? Because I had one view of homeschooling, and that view has morphed into something else over time. So I would say, do your homework, look at what's happening in your community and just beyond your community to see what support's available, and talk to people, email people who run cooperatives, contact state organizations that help homeschoolers get started, and see if you feel like you'll have enough support to give you the confidence to try it. But if someone's in a position where they're really considering, I would say first know how much is out there. Oftentimes there are more resources than people realize to get going.
That's true. Awesome. Great advice. And you mentioned just your goal for your kids. What would be a goal for Ethan for you as a parent?
So that's great. So the approach that we use to homeschooling is based on a philosophy sort of developed by an educator from over 100 years ago. And her name was Charlotte Mason. And, at this point, studying philosophy and her methodology, I come across a lot of quotes. So I would share this. I would say that when I think about goals I have for Ethan, and he'll have his own too, of course, but goals that I have as a parent really tie into sort of a big one when it comes to education. And that's not that at the end of the day, it's not how much he knows, while that's important and we have expectations, it's how much does he care. And so it's about that. I want to experience the fullness of life. I always want to be learning and growing and engaging with the beautiful things of the world and people. And how much do I care about being that kind of person who's always growing and continuing that, lifelong journey of learning. So I would say, how much does he care? So it's much about character, tied to, of course, having a nice, robust education so that there is this wonderful set of skills and this knowledge and wisdom we want for our kids, I think.
I love that. I really, really love that. It's really about character. Just, are they really good human beings, and being able to experience life the fullest and still showing love and compassion to others, and just really being there. Because you're right. Sometimes we could miss it because we know so much, but in reality, it's not what we know. Because we can still know a lot, but not necessarily be that loving, caring, and be a person of good character. So I love that. Absolutely. So thank you for sharing that. And then just before we go and wrap up, we talk about just being an adult. What is one thing that's just hard about being an adult?
I will all of you finding downtime, finding, time to really sort of take care of yourself as a mother. I find that difficult. I do that a lot of people. We have a small family, so you think, well, isn't there some time here or there? And it's not that the time doesn't exist. It's that I feel like as a mother, you always feel like, well, I can't sit down because this needs taken care of, or I should get to that, but first I have to respond to these emails. So in terms of that self-care, I think, it can't be understated, overstated, excuse me. I think we really need to make sure we have time for ourselves. I find that I'm up very late at night when I ought not to be, but because I feel like I need my time. I need my time to read. Right? And that's like, it's really my extra mom time. And so I would say, as an adult and as a parent, making sure to carve out that time, even if it's not a lot of time, but every day a few minutes. I think I could do a better job of not doing that at night, just managing time better, so that's more a reality that creates balance in our lives.
Absolutely. And thank you just for sharing that. And, just to summarize everything, that self-care is so true and crucial. And I do understand, because I do stay up on my phone or reading something a little bit extra or trying to do something else. And David is always like, you go to bed, you say you're going to bed, but this is the moment that I actually have quiet time. My teenager is sleeping, the baby is sleeping. This is like my time to shine and get things done. But I have to say, okay, I just have to stop. And it's hard though, but I'm still working on that too. But I do like, the self-care on the side, just to be more intentional. That's my only way of really being intentional. But we do have to definitely manage that time as well, to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves as parents. So that way we can continue to raise really amazing kids that has just amazing character and just going to show love and compassion to others and just be an amazing human being overall. Right.
And I love to use the word intentional, because that's key. If we're intentional about the good choices that we make, then we are, by in effect, modeling for our children. How do you take care of yourself? Absolutely. Right? You're modeling, I don't stay up late. That's really not what I want to see you learn to
right.
do. Take care of yourself and recognize that a little time might be fine, but that know when to say when.
Exactly.
So I think being intentional, I really like that, because it's key. It's like having this intention of doing something that will help you and your child.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, just overall with that piece is they really see more of what you do than what you say. So we have to make sure we're really leading by example when it comes to them as well. So thank you so much for sharing that and just your journey, your story. Is there anything else that you would like to add, or just, say to another parent just to encourage them?
Sure. Yes. I would just like to say, to all moms and moms and dads, that, we have to forgive ourselves, as we learn along the way, if we don't always make the best choices as a parent, to forgive ourselves, learn from that and move on. I think sometimes we can, be a little hard, a little critical. And, again, your child's watching. They want to learn to forgive themselves and grow from an experience too. So I would say, be gentle with yourself.
Absolutely. I love that. I think today in my women's group, we kind of spoke on that a little bit. We had another parent who was just like, oh my gosh, I'm being so selfish. And we're like, give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Sometimes we can be a little hard on ourselves. And as mom, I guess it's just a part of us, but I like that. Just give yourself some grace and knowing that it's okay. And that's one of the things I say, I mentioned in my videos. It's just to remind parents, whether moms or dads, because we do have some dads out there too. And it's okay to be selfish sometimes, for you. And it's okay, because the kids are going to be okay. Your husband is going to be okay. But you're not going to be okay if you're not at your best to take care of everyone else. So with that being said, I want to definitely thank you again for, taking the time out and just sharing your story. Definitely would love to have you back, and would love to uh, interview your husband as well, and do another dynamic of what it's like even with parenting, because that's a whole another story too, when we may have different ideas or of how to discipline, or of how to go in a direction, different topics. So we'll love to have that conversation, or when we do a panel, for you to be on that as well. So thank you again.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching again. And just once again, just thank you, Cynthia, for just sharing your story, your journey. Until next time, guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And it's okay to be a little selfish for yourself, to yourself. Have a great one.